Hi everyone, and welcome to a Monday Musings with me, Michelle Caira. I am founder and CEO of fitmama, and I drop in every week and just give you a little bit of a roundup of my thoughts and feelings and things that have been going on in my life, obviously in relation to mums and fitness and health and things like that. So a couple of things that I want to touch on today, and it kind of follows a spectrum. So the first thing I'll say is I am absolutely done, sick and tired of reading these completely idiotic memes that are out there that are mum shaming on every angle. And I hate to say it, but I've actually seen these memes shared and passed on by some friends of mine and people that are acquaintances and people who are in my network. So they're appearing on my feed, and I'm absolutely sick of them. I am sick of them. One in particular that got me absolutely riled this week was a meme that basically had this mum. I don't know who she is, so I can't tag her or anything like that, and I wouldn't do that. That's not the point of this. But she was standing holding one of these blackboard marketing kind of things, and on it said something along the lines of why don't we take a second to stop talking about pinging our bodies back into shape and actually think of what a miracle our bodies are. It wasn't as soft as that, I might add. I'm being quite diplomatic when I'm passing this message on. And the second one that came up in my feed more than once was like a big chat. It was like this big scroll of we don't need the pressure of pinging back, we don't need the pressure of fitness. Why don't we take some time to think about what our bodies have done, the miracles of what's happened, the miracle of babies, our body has carried a growing child for 9 months and the delivery and the labour. And I kind of read these and I totally get the message. It's not like it's lost entirely on me. It's not like I'm some sort of hard cold queen sitting up on an ivory tower that I don't get what they're trying to say, but I'm absolutely sick and tired of reading them. I am sick and tired of reading them. One of them in particular, I actually replied back to, and I replied back to as Fit Mama Coach and not from my personal Instagram account. And one of them was really going into this bit of, you know, why are we being made to be ashamed of pregnancy and why are we rushing to get through pregnancy? And I was like, hang on a second, not every single mother goes through pregnancy skipping through some field like Heidi in the mountains. Sometimes pregnancy is the toughest journey, both mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically, that when you get to the end of it, you're like, thank goodness this is over and done with. Love my child, nothing wrong with that. But man alive, I've got stretch marks, or I've got weak pelvic floor, or pelvic girdle pain during the pregnancy, carpal tunnel syndrome. A lot of women want to get through pregnancy because their pregnancy isn't particularly enjoyable. So I'm just sick of seeing these memes that are continually berating almost women who are saying, good, glad that pregnancy's done, love my baby, let me get my body back. What is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? There is absolutely nothing wrong with a woman postpartum who says, that was a great experience. I've now got this miracle bundle of joy that I love. And boy, I can't wait to get back into my fitness routine. Can't wait to feel like me again. That extra 20, 25, 30 kg carrying around towards the end there. Oh, my body can't cope with it. I can't wait to, start working out or whatever it may be. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it at all. So I am really, I don't normally get this strongly worded about things, but I'm sick and tired of seeing the memes that are on the opposite side that are really kind of mum shaming mums who want to get back into some sort of fitness and health routine that's relating to exercise. I'm just done with it. So please be careful of what you are sharing. You might believe in that and you might think, well, this is my feed, I want to share what I want. Okay, I have no issue with that. But every single time you share something like, I don't need my body to ping back, I'm more than happy with this, blah, blah, blah. Great, good on you. Good on you. No issue with that whatsoever. But please bear in mind there are other people that are like, well, that's good, but I'm quite happy to get back on. You don't have to you rate somebody that's going into a fitness routine just because it's not your bag. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say in a roundabout way. Um, and the stats that I can give you on that, I've been working with women postpartum for almost a decade now. And when I say women postpartum, I mean that's my daily job. And I've trained hundreds of women, and I can honestly say, I have not taken the stats on this, but I can honestly say it's something like 9 out of 10 women who work with me will say, yeah, what are we going to do about my body? And that's not about weight loss. That's not about shredding any fat or anything like that. But that is definitely about, I don't recognize my body. I'd like to tone this up. I'm exhausted. What do I do about my energy levels? I'd like to feel sexy again. For me, all of these things are predominantly what I am told, and I have worked with hundreds of mums. So I think it's some sort of, I don't know why these memes are kicking around at the moment. I don't know if it's a trend thing, to a backlash against women who go back into fitness. I've got no idea. But just be mindful when you're sharing all of these things that, you know, I've definitely not had that as the majority of women who have said, yeah, I'm quite happy with my postpartum body for the next year. Take your time, find something that suits you, work with your family, work with your postpartum ailments, of course. But I'm just a little bit tired of seeing this backlash. Moving on to slightly other things. Um, One thing that I'm getting, and I had this really sweet conversation with someone last night actually, and the conversation I had was with a lady who's in her early 30s, and she's in a serious relationship, and she was saying, you know, how do I prep my body for pregnancy? Because I think that's the route that we're about to go down, and you know, how do I prep my body for that? And it's really interesting because I've worked with a lot of mums in the postpartum phase, but also a lot of women in the pre-pregnancy stage where they have done exactly that, and they've said, what should I do? What top tips can you give for me to prep my body so I'm in the best possible position? And the advice I would give is, before you conceive, do as much as you possibly can, because, in terms of fitness, because you have no idea what your fitness is going to be like post, in the middle of the pregnancy, post conception. You have no idea what your pregnancy is going to be like. So you have no idea if you will have split abdominals, weak pelvic floor, carpal tunnel syndrome, if you will be permanently sick throughout the whole entire pregnancy. All of these things you don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody has a clue. You have no idea what pregnancy is going to bring. So because of that, you are in this position where you're going into the unknown, and you're happy to do that. You're happy to go into the unknown, but you're going into the unknown, and really at that point you should be like, okay, what could I best do to prep my body for that so that I'm in the best possible position, so that this will be a really fit pregnancy for me. So in with that in mind, I would say to you is, understand what exercises you need to do daily and weekly, what exercises you need to do, apologies, just move that, what exercises you need to do, and then also what exercise habits and routine can you get into so that when you do fall pregnant, that you are stuck to a habit and stuck to a routine. Now, what does that look like? Well, okay, well, pre-pregnancy, me personally, I would do a lot of core work. I would make sure that my core, my abdominals, and my lower back were getting a lot of attention. These can be, these exercises that work this whole trunk area would be everything from full body workouts, weight training in the gym or at home, and obviously something like Pilates based thrown in. Now, the reason I say work really hard on your lower back, your abdominals, your side obliques, your transverse abdominis, and your, if you like, your six pack at the front. The reason for working all of this really well is because when you go into pregnancy, that trunk area is the first area that you will have to drop a lot of these exercises when you move from the first into the second trimester. So in your first trimester, when you are just finding out you're pregnant, you can still continue to do majority of the exercises that you've been doing, save for feeling physically sick, lightheaded, any problems with the pregnancy. So if it's a high risk pregnancy and you know that straight away, then obviously there's exceptions. If everything is going swimmingly well, then in your first trimester, there's nothing really that you need to do to drop out of your fitness routine You just have to be a little bit more mindful that jumping up and down really makes you feel lightheaded. That's not so great. You have to keep your hydration up super well. You need to sleep. And you also need to listen to your body a lot more, which is really tough because you don't know what you're listening to. Because a lot of the time in the first trimester, there's no sign of the baby. You know, there's no kicking, there's no nudging, there's no physical sign. You could probably get to 12 weeks and maybe you won't even have a bump. So um, things like that, that kind of tricks you. So just be very careful. Also, in the first trimester, your body is creating and building the placenta, and for a lot of people, or a lot of mums, sorry to be, that is the time where they feel this wall of exhaustion. So they hit this wall of exhaustion because their body is busy creating not just the baby, but this placenta, the placenta that will take over as the feeding station and internal life station for the kid as the baby grows. So that whole first trimester period can be really, really tough, and it can be really tough on your body, and you just don't know what you're going into at all. Have no clue. So for me, pre-conception, I would work really solidly on your lower back, side obliques, transverse abdominis, which is your core, your corset. I'd work on your abdominal area because when you go into pregnancy, that's the first area that you will drop, and you want to make sure that the work that you're doing on your body is carrying you through the whole entire pregnancy. Things like your legs and arms. Legs and arms can get worked. Legs, arms, ass. These can get worked during your pregnancy. There's absolutely no problem with that whatsoever. So anything that is leg and arm based and ass based, you can be continuing to do that throughout the whole entire pregnancy. So don't be worrying about keeping up your strength in all of these areas, because you can continue to do whatever it is that you're doing postpartum. You can do push-ups in an elevated position as the pregnancy progresses. You can do tricep dips. You can do, a lot of mums still do cycling. Be very careful with that because your balance, it's just your balance that goes a little bit off. That's the first thing to be careful about. The second thing is if somebody bangs into you, so it's nothing to do with you, nothing to do with your ability, you're perfectly capable, but if someone accidentally crashes into you, how will that affect you? Will that give you some sort of an injury, or will you fall off your bike? And that's the danger. So it's nothing really to do with you and your capabilities. So there's lots of things you can do pre-conception, and I would concentrate on these things. I'd make sure that you were at a weight physically that you are comfortable with. Now that weight will be up to the individuals, and it's not based on being a skinny mini, skinny mini, and it's not based on being, carrying a little bit extra weight. You do you. So whatever you are comfortable with, because as I said, when you go into the actual pregnancy, you've not got a clue in that pregnancy if you will have an inability to do anything. And here's the example. When I was 20 weeks pregnant, I went to get my scan, and when I came off the table for my scan, I felt my pubic bone really sore, and I was like, what is this all about? Went to get further testing, went to see a physio after that because I had pelvic girdle pain, which is referred to as SPD. And that is nothing but agony, nothing but agony. And that was ligaments, the hormone that is pushed through your body during pregnancy is called relaxin. And that hormone does the job correct. It starts to loosen off your ligaments and to make your body ready and prepared for just softening, that's the best word I can think of, ready for a delivery and ready for your body to go through a delivery. That's great, but at 20 weeks pregnant as a personal trainer, to lose the ability to be walking a lot isn't cool. It's really tough, really difficult. Legs together when you're swinging out a car, legs together when you're turning over in bed, careful of walking up and down stairs, careful of pushing pedals in a car. All of these things that you take for granted, I took for granted, that were affected when I was going through my pregnancy, and that lasted for 20 weeks. So, you have no idea what you're going into in a pregnancy. So my advice would be get to the weight that you're looking to be at, the size and shape that you're looking to be at. If you don't want to weigh yourself, the size and shape, I'm comfortable as I am, and get a nice routine sorted out. Now, the routine part of it works really well because the routine, once you have a habit embedded into your life, when you get into the point where you maybe have morning sickness, or you're just like, oh, I need to forego something, I'm going to forego my fitness, you will have this knot in your brain that will say, you really should be working out. And that's where you seek out exercises and a program that's suitable to your stage. So you might not be able to do a HIIT session because your body just can't cope with that, but maybe a slow-mo Pilates session, or maybe a lit session, or maybe a Nordic walking adventure, something like that. So you have to listen to what stage you're at in your pregnancy, listen to your body, and then combining all of that, keep the routine in check, because you don't want to lose that habit. You don't want to lose that routine. You just have to be super flexible with it. So pre-pregnancy, what can you do? You can research options. You can research, you might be hooked on your high strobe spin class, your high intensity boot camp session at lunchtime, your fitmama workouts every day, 10-minute workouts. You might be totally hooked on that, but preconception, just start to open your mind. What else is there here? Because at lunchtime I do my 10-minute fitmama session at work. What else could I do? Is there a Pilates session on through work? Is there a fitness studio nearby? Is there a bar session I could do with fitmama online? What can I do? And start to seek out alternatives so that you know that when you are in the thick of it and you're like, I want to do something today, but what can I do? You've got these tools and tips at hand, and you could quickly reach out and go, yeah, okay, I want to do that. That's it. Oh yeah, last night. So last night I went to this dance event. This is my last point. Last night I went to this dance event, which I knew nothing really about. I was going with a friend to support a friend, and so she was dancing, and my goodness, the phrase "girls just want to have fun" was made for this particular evening. I swear to you. You had maybe 30 women on the stage, all at different times, doing fusion dancing. So they were coming out, and a lot of it was tribal fusion dancing. They were coming out in little bikini tops, um, belly dancing style outfits, Bollywood style outfits, and these women were every shape and size. And I'm not joking you when I say every shape and size, from the look of really quite slim to the woman that I thought was clearly overweight, but from one on the spectrum to the other, every single woman had so much courage to dance out there, to do their thing, and they all looked amazing. And what was it that made them look amazing? It was confidence. They were so body confident, regardless of what they were displaying. And if I could honestly, I don't have a daughter, but if I had a daughter and I wanted to show her an example of this is what you should be like, that session last night was it. Because I mean, they were just loving the dancing, putting everything into it, giving it their all, and they were just absolutely wonderful. Wonderful. I loved the courage that they had, and the fact they just went for it. It was really good to see, and I really enjoyed that aspect entirely. I really thought that was really good. So back to the original point, I was saying, you do you. You start where you are, and if you're comfortable with your body in whatever shape and size, and that's fine, that's great. Shape and size has nothing to do with fitness and health. Let me just add that. So you can be whatever shape and size you like, but you should also be fit and healthy. And that's the bit that I think sometimes gets confused in social media, especially those 9 square grid type Instagram accounts. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful week. That's a super long video. I'm not sure if you'll even watch this. It's quite long, super long. Have a nice week, and let me know your thoughts on everything that I've discussed, and if there's anything that you'd like me to tackle in the next session, then by all means drop me a line and comment below, or you can drop me a line at hello@fitmama.io. And remember, if you're looking for something that is personal training based that you can dip in and out of, our Fit Mama Club is available, and we have a basic and also a premium membership. Yes, that was a plug. Have a great week, guys. Bye.